Okay, Nesh, we have a question from Yasmin on LinkedIn. So Yasmin wrote, what do you think is the most effective approach to treat adult children who have secondary PTSD symptoms from a parent with complex PTSD? Is group work helpful, particularly dealing with the resentment of being exposed to the illness at such a young age?
I think when going out and supporting someone who has secondary PTSD from a parent who has complex PTSD or trauma, I would actually start with trying to appreciate the client's experience, their journey, their story. So I take a lot of time to try and understand and appreciate where they're coming from and to validate their feelings, because as a young person growing up, they didn't really have choice in the environment, and I'd probably suggest that potentially the parent didn't have choice either. They were going through their own immense challenges. So I would be treating from a perspective of compassion, so putting aside therapy models, what to use and so on and so forth. I would be looking at compassion, understanding, caring, an approach with love. I think it's just so important to validate and normalise what that person's been through before we do anything, before we try and delve into maybe some of that resentment and the like. And so I think it would be a slow process. We're talking about lifelong experiences. A child growing up in an environment where a parent was suffering with what sounds like quite complex PTSD. I imagine if I was a parent, and I was going through complex trauma, it would be very difficult for me to attend to my child's needs in comparison to when I'm not. And so I think trying to really pull that apart and give appreciation, perspective take, but from that loving, compassionate perspective, I think would be useful.
Yasmin asks, is group work helpful? Is there room for that?
I can't specifically go out and say yes or no. I would err on the side of caution with group therapy unless you've got an absolutely excellent facilitator. And the reason why is those elements around compassion and understanding would need to be integral in that environment. So a non-judgmental approach that all participants in the group appreciate and understand confidentiality, that they're supportive. From that basis, it can be a wildly fantastic environment to work through someone's challenges and difficulties, because the person with secondary PTSD would likely go and be validated because they would recognise that other people in life have experienced a very similar experience. And so I think there's value in both. But just me personally, I'd probably start with an individual approach. Would be my take.